I'm just quickly going to explain this email that you might have got from Amazon. The subject is important information about NAT gateway in your account. I'm going to explain what the email actually means and then show you how to use Overmind to work out whether you need to worry about it. This email says we've observed that your Amazon VPC resources are using a shared NAT gateway across multiple availability zones. And what they recommend that you do is put a NAT gateway in each availability zone instead. The reason that they are recommending that is that things in your VPC use a NAT gateway to speak outbound to the internet unless they have a public IP address. And if you just have one NAT gateway, if the availability zone that NAT gateway is in fails, then nothing can talk to the internet, even if it's in an availability zone that hasn't failed, because its NAT gateway has failed. So what it's asking you to do is put one in each availability zone, which means that even if one availability zone were to fail, you would still have a working NAT gateway in the other two, and things could still speak outbound to the internet, which is basically a good idea, except the NAT gateways do cost you money. They add a bit of complexity, and you may not necessarily need it. So I'm going to show you how to use Overmind to understand what your infrastructure looks like and work out whether this is something that you need to care about. So to start off, I'm just going to search for the NAT gateway that the email told me about. It's just down the bottom. I'm just going to go into Overmind, start a new query, and just get the details of this particular NAT gateway. And if we have a look at it, we can see that it's in EUS 2A, and that's about all. So what we need to do is we need to work out what depends on this, and therefore what would lose internet access if this were to fail, or the whole availability zone were to fail. So I'm just going to expand it. There's a few things here. We don't care about IP addresses or network interfaces. What we do care about is the route table and the subnet that it's in. The route table controls how subnets route between them. If you look at this route table, it's covered by my head, but it's got a route that says if it's local, then speak locally, and if it's not, then go through the NAT gateway, which is this NAT gateway here. So anything in any of these subnets is going to use that NAT gateway, as well as this subnet, which is the one it's actually in. So I'm just going to expand all of these subnets so that we get a full picture of absolutely everything that is in every single one of these subnets, and therefore might be affected. And once that's done, I'm just going to hide the subnets because we don't need to deal with them anymore. We've got our NAT gateway. If we look at our EC2 NAT gateway, which is here, and everything else here is something that depends on that NAT gateway. This is a load balancer. We can see ELB load balancer. We can see it's in these three availability zones. You can also see by the fact that it's linked to them, 2A, 2B, 2C, that potentially this could be a problem because it's in all three availability zones. It's highly available, so we wouldn't want it to break if we lost one. But this is a load balancer. It's taking traffic that's coming in and splitting it between some services on the back end. It's not going to be reaching out to the internet, so it's not going to care if the NAT gateway goes down. So we don't really need to worry about it. Same goes for this load balancer, and so I'm just going to filter these out. The next thing is this thing called Ingress, which if we have a look is also a load balancer. It's just a different type. It's in version 2. It's once again in all three availability zones, but once again, it's a load balancer, so we don't care. It's not going to break if it doesn't have internet access. The next thing we have is this is a route table. We probably don't care about that route table at the moment. The next thing is an RDS DB subnet group. We've got two of them. One is dog food and one is gateway DB. This could actually be something we care about, so I'm just going to expand them both, see what's inside. We can see inside of gateway DB, there's an RDS cluster called gateway DB, which I can expand, and that has an RDS instance there. It's also got some DNS entries, but I don't need to worry about that. And a security group, which I also don't need to worry about. But we can see here that this database only has one instance, but also it's a database. It's not likely to be reaching out to the internet to get stuff. Probably things are going to be connecting inbound. So this is very unlikely to be affected by the NAT gateway going down because it's just not going to be talking outbound to the internet. The last thing that we haven't looked at yet is this EKS cluster called dog food. Now this definitely could be talking out to the internet. It will need to be able to go and pull Docker images to start up pods. The pods themselves might talk to the internet. There's almost certainly going to be something that needs the NAT gateway. So I'm just going to expand it to see what it's made out of. We've got a couple of node groups here, which I'm just going to expand as well, because I want to know where the nodes are. The node group is related to an auto-scaling group, and that's what actually contains the node. So I'll expand both of these. And we've also got a few of these launch templates. Once again, don't really care about those. So I'm going to hide. But we can see here that these two instances are in the auto-scaling groups, which are in the node groups, which are part of the cluster. So these are the two instances in that cluster. They are both in EU West 2C. So it's not actually highly available, this cluster. It's entirely within EU West 2C. Our NAT gateway is over here. It's in EU West 2A. So this might actually be a problem. Even though our cluster is not highly available, it's all in one availability zone, it's in a different availability zone to the NAT gateway. So for one, we're going to be talking across availability zones to get to the internet, which costs money. It's going to incur additional bandwidth costs. But B, if 2A goes down, we'll lose internet access and things will stop working. And if 2C goes down, these instances will go down and things will stop working. So we actually have 2 points of failure here. However, the cheapest solution to that, and the most obvious solution, is not to put 2 more NAT gateways in. It's just shift this NAT gateway into EU West 2C so that everything is all in the same availability zone. If that goes down, everything goes down, but it would have gone down anyway. It doesn't cost us any extra money, and we'll actually save money because these instances will no longer be talking across availability zones. So this is just an example of how you can use Overmind to get a bit of an understanding of what you have in your AWS. I didn't put any of this data in. It's all discovered automatically. Our early access is open now, so if you want to sign up, please do, and you can get access to all of this stuff for free. Thanks.